Good to have you on the programme. Thank you for your time. So what exactly does the Brexit Party stand for?
Well, of course it stands for democracy. It stands for the re-establishment of trust between people and the politicians. And of course, we want the referendum implemented as it was promised. But actually, we're about more than that. We're about fundamental change in British politics. We think there needs to be a genuine political revolution in this country. The two-party system isn't working. It's not fit for purpose. Parliament now simply does not reflect the mood and the will of the people in this country. So for us, the European elections on May the 23rd are the first step towards completely trying to reform British politics.
OK, so does that mean you have a manifesto written, you have policies in place on the likes of income tax and education?
Oh, all of that's to come. It's a very new party, and we're going to fight a European election on those issues of democracy, trust, and indeed competence, because one of the things that I'm quite proud to say is the Brexit Party is putting forward people who have had some serious success in business life, the sort of people who know how to do a deal. And I think it isn't just the feeling that we've been betrayed by Parliament, but there's a feeling there's almost no one competent running the show. And we're going to put a very different face on politics in that way.
So competence, what about diversity? What's the percentage number of your candidates who are being fielded from ethnic minority backgrounds?
Well, I don't know whether you saw the platform today and you saw our launch, but I think you'll find a much higher percentage than the other parties.
What is that then? Give me a number, because you've got, I mean, how many candidates are you fielding?
Well, I've only revealed four candidates so far, two of whom came from ethnically diverse backgrounds. That's 50%. It doesn't mean the whole list will be. Doesn't mean the whole list will be. And look, come on, we shouldn't be thinking actually too much about quotas and numbers. We should be thinking about ability, and that's what we'll do. And you're going to see a very considerable cross-section of this country standing for the Brexit Party.
OK, now you're going to try and convince the electorate that you're different from UKIP, similar in policy but different in personnel.
Similar on Europe, yes. Similar on Europe.
OK, fine. But crucially different on personnel because of the problems that UKIP have had. But I just want to bring in the point that regarding your former Brexit Party leader, she's already had to resign on comments that she made on Twitter, very Islamophobic comments. I mean, this isn't the best of starts, is it?
We had a couple of teething problems, and let me tell you something. We are going to be, as a party...
She equated Islam to being submissive.
We're going to be, as a party, deeply intolerant of intolerance. You know, we're not the Labour Party. We're not going to turn a blind eye to anti-Semitism or any of those things. We in the Brexit Party will not have it, all right?
So how confident are you that the views of Ms Blakelock are not widely held within the Brexit Party?
We will not be having it, all right? It's as simple as that.
And are you confident that those views aren't widely held? This is just the beginning?
Well, you wait and see. You wait and see the list of 70 people that we put before the British public. I've got a feeling they'll be the most impressive list of candidates you've ever seen from any UK political party.
Talking about a list of candidates, or impressive in candidates, we were surprised to see Annunziata Rees-Mogg on the podium with you.
Were you? Well, look, this issue is leaving people in all of our parties feeling absolutely let down, cheated and betrayed by what's going on.
So what does she bring to your party?
Well, she's highly intelligent. She probably knows more about the European subject than virtually anybody else, maybe apart from her brother and Bill Cash. She knows the subject inside out. She's very, very passionate, and she believes we've got to do something to save our democracy, to restore trust and faith between the governors and the governed. And also, what about our standing in the world? You know, we're becoming an international laughingstock, and she wants to do something about that.
So could this be the beginning of maybe more members from the ERG coming over? What about Jacob?
Well, no, he's made it very clear that his loyalty to the Conservative Party is very strong, and that's his own decision. But I just think, look, you know, these existing political parties, they can't cope with Brexit. It's not working, and we are looking to change and realign politics in this country.
There is a danger, but by doing this and standing in the European elections against a Tory party, that you are going to be taking valuable votes away from them. Is that what you're intending to do?
Well, we may take valuable votes away from the Labour Party. Don't forget that in 2015, the only reason David Cameron got a majority is because of the 4 million votes that UKIP took. It took more from Labour than it took from the Conservatives. You know, this question about being a democratic country is not a left or right-wing issue.
But some people say you're doing Jeremy Corbyn a favour here.
Look, the old two-party system doesn't work. It's failed. We've got to move on. We need some new politics here.
OK. Where's your funding coming from?
Well, that's the remarkable thing. And I think so far the most pleasing thing is that 10 days after our website went live, we've managed to raise over £750,000 in small donations, the biggest being £150. And that shows you there's an appetite out there in the country for something different. It's a fantastic start. So
it's not just backers by rich billionaires here?
Well, at the moment, we're being funded by ordinary people, giving us 10 quids, 20 quids, and up to and including 150 quids. And it's a very, very heartening thing to see.
You're putting a huge amount of effort into the elections. There is a possibility that these elections never come for Britain. How confident are you that we will get to May the 23rd?
Well, you can't start an election and call it off midway through. I mean, people have been cheated of one vote already. To cheat them of another one would be an outrage.
But there is a chance, isn't there, that the withdrawal deal will make it through Parliament before this election date? What do you think about that? Could that happen?
I just don't think, I just do not believe that Parliament is going to vote for this appalling new treaty. I just don't believe it, no.
And are you preparing for a second referendum? Are you ready to fight that? Well,
we shouldn't have a second referendum until we've implemented the first one. So if there is a second referendum in a few years' time, then, yeah, we'll be ready for it. There's no need to have one now. All we need to do is to deliver. People were promised explicitly that if they voted for Brexit in the referendum, that it would be implemented, and that's not happening. And that is an absolute failure of leadership and a breakdown of trust and democracy in our country.
And a general election, are you ready for that?
We're preparing for it. We're not ready for it. We're only a couple of weeks old. You know, we've done an awful lot in a short space of time. But look, the 23rd of May for us is the beginning of our political journey.
And just very briefly, Mr Farage, is it time for Theresa May to stand down?
Well, it was time for her to stand down a long time ago, but I guess she'll stay on. And I have to say, I think she's the worst leader I've seen in my lifetime. I was at the summit the other evening. It was pretty humiliating, even being a British person in attendance.
We'll leave it there. Nigel Farage, thank you very much.
Thank you.